Hello, folks. It's me, Tommy NC 2010, and welcome back to another awesome episode of the Crystal and Tommy podcast. Now, it was my fault. This was my fault. What I went out today, I had a hard day at the gym, and I went out just had a day off today, and believe it or not, I just laid on the couch and passed out and fell asleep. And it was the vibration of my phone that was Crystal that telling me, I'm like, hey, Crystal, what's up? And it's like, aren't we still going to do this? I'm like, do what? And she's like, the podcast. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, shit.
And my apologies to everybody for being late right now. This is what happens when
It happens.
and I just want to say welcome to the Tommy and Crystal podcast. Crystal, how are you doing here today? How are you doing?
I'm well, can't complain about a thing. Not a thing.
Yes. So, me and Crystal, believe it or not, weren't together when we were watching the Oscars. She was actually on vacation, and I was home, and she actually wasn't watching the Oscars. I actually convinced her to watch the Oscars, and she was watching it, and oops. I actually convinced her to watch the Oscars, and what did you think, Crystal, of the Oscars?
Well, I don't have much of an opinion about it. It was fine. I've never watched an Oscars before, not to my recollection. Not from beginning to end. Um and I mean I love movies like everybody else. And influenced and affected by those movies. And it's cool to, I guess to be reminded of, oh yeah, there's cinematographers and there's, audio people and all these people that, you know, have this huge role in making a movie happen outside of just directors and actors and things. Um, but, I guess I don't know these people. I don't recognize their names. Glad they got recognized for what they do, because we all enjoy it. Was definitely psyched that Joaquin won Best Actor. You and I both were hoping for that, and so that was cool. I really do like Renee Zellweger won Best Actress, and I like her, always have. Think that a lot of times her roles, she's a better actor than than the movies are. Like she outperforms the movie itself. So I'm glad she got an Oscar for her portrayal of Judy Garland. I haven't seen that movie.
Me either. Like some of these movies that they were talking about, this World War One movie. It was winning half of the Oscars, and one particular movie that just kept ballparking, honestly, and winning every single award was that World War II movie, and also what was the name of it? Something about it was a foreign film.
It's called Parasite.
Parasite. I have no idea what the storyline's about exactly, but I know that this movie is like really good. Now, even with Crystal's even said I gotta watch this movie.
Yeah, it got Best Film. This was the 92nd Oscar. So the Oscars have been around for 92 years. This was the first time that a foreign-made film won an Oscar. So, and he also won Best Director, I believe. Made in South Korea. And yeah, I really want to watch it. I'm really interested in what it's about.
Yeah, and it definitely looks like about like people that are troubled, or like people that live in Korea, like and have problems, like maybe a relationship or something like that. And
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think either one of us really know what the movie's about. Did you see a trailer?
No, I haven't even looked up the trailer to see what it's about
exactly. Yeah, I have
exactly.
no idea what it's about. I don't know what it's about. I mean, it looks like a drama of some sort, but otherwise, I don't know anything about it. Um, I really liked Joaquin's acceptance speech. I thought it was really nice.
I thought that he did a really good job. He did put some politics into his speech about also about you know animals' rights and stuff like that, because I know he's a
I don't think that's politics. I think that the term "oh, that's politics" is getting thrown around too lackadaisically these days.
Well, I
Because
mean, not politics.
human rights and animal
Animal rights,
rights
and
and
he did put
and
some
being
animal
and
rights
being
stuff in there too. I noticed that because he is vegetarian.
right.
On top of that,
Yeah, but that's not really a political issue. That's a human issue. That's a you know a that's an issue that's aside from and different from politics, I think.
and I think when somebody is delivering a speech, they have every right to say what they want to say, and the lackadaisical idea of somebody going into the media and then saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make fun of Joaquin Phoenix because he was talking about animal rights because you said that you looked up some stuff online and the which media outlet."
I saw positive feedback except from the U.S. Post, and they didn't just poke fun at Joaquin. They poked fun at Renee Zellweger, and they poked fun at Brad Pitt because he made a political statement, and they were like, "Oh, he wasted his speech on some political jab," and I'm like, that is so silly. I mean, I don't read with the U.S. Post. I don't give a crap about the U.S. Post. But when you think about it, it's it's the Oscars, okay? Big deal. Like nobody's curing cancer. Nobody's creating an invention that's going to make everybody's life great. It's the Oscars. It's Hollywood.
Yeah.
And if Brad Pitt, who's been this A-list actor for the last 30 years, wants to say something political for his statement, who cares? It's his award. If he wants to get up there and say he took a runny crap that morning, fine. It's his moment.
I think what it is that people say, oh yeah, it's the film. What is it? What do they call it? It's not just the Oscars. It's the what is it? The technical word for the Oscars?
Academy Awards.
It's the Academy Awards. So I'm thinking people are saying, oh, you have to respect the Academy. You have to respect the Academy. Well, the Academy is being respectable enough to these actors by giving them an award, and I don't think an Academy Award defies an actor. I think it's the actor that defies that actor as
defines. Yeah, I mean, you think that Leo feels defined by the one Oscar he won for Revenant? The guy ought to have like 8 Oscars. He's over it at this point. He doesn't care. I would bet money that Leo's sitting there and not giving a crap. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he would prefer to not even be there. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, how far removed must these people be from getting a gold-plated medal? I mean, it's just a glorified baseball trophy for someone like Leo or Brad Pitt at this point.
Somehow I imagine Leonardo DiCaprio sitting in there and looking like the Wolf of Wall Street and just saying, I just try to do everything I want to just win this Oscar, and I'm gonna sell it till I can sell it, and I'm gonna make that money because that's how I could do it. And this Academy, they are a joke, and that's how I'm going to do it. That's my New York.
I would get such a crack. I would laugh so hard.
Auction hall.
If Leo won. Indeed.
Shout out to Foulmouth Ken.
Yeah. Auction wall. My favorite. I love that so much. Gosh, it's the most New York thing I've ever heard in my life, and he didn't even know it. I love it. Anyway,
when you go to New York, maybe you guys could have dinner or something at some point.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. I mean, my daughter will be with me. I think it'd be really cool to go visit him and meet his wife and his daughter. I think he has one, or does he have 2 daughters? I can't remember.
I can't remember exactly. I think
but I think that would be That'd be pretty cool. I think it would blow. I think it would blow my daughter's mind to be like, "Oh my God, you actually know somebody in New York City? How'd that happen?" And
Well, it's actually Tommy that knows him, but Tommy introduced me to him.
of course, yes, I will never forget to give you the credit. I don't think that Ken doesn't live in the city,
No, I
but
think
yeah.
he lives in he lives on Long Island.
Okay, okay.
You know, I
Yeah, but I think I would get such a kick out of Leo. He would be a perfect example because he only has the one Oscar. Took him forever to get it, even though he's been like
in
killing
every
it since he was like
single
17 years old.
movie since the '90s, you know, in the '80s and the '90s. I think that he got his start in the '90s, and
He did.
he didn't even get an Oscar for Titanic, which he was brilliant in that
No.
movie. You know,
Well,
and
he was in I know we've talked about this and you haven't seen it, but he was like 18 when he did What's Even Eating Gilbert Grape and Basketball Diaries.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely phenomenal. Um, the first time I ever personally saw him as a child was in Growing Pains. He had a role later on in that show, and he was also in Critters 3.
What?
Yep, the third Critters movie. He was in it, and I
Thank you
watched
for
it when I
the
was
super
like,
chat. Sorry.
huh?
Somebody just donated a super chat $1.99.
Oh,
Super chat.
yeah, but wouldn't it be hilarious if like, so let's say Leo won an Oscar again, and then he gets up there and everybody's applauding him, and he just goes, he just kind of holds it up a little bit and goes, thanks a lot, and then just leaves and just walks off stage.
That would be
Thanks.
that'd be kind of like flipping off the Academy, but also just some actors. You know, I have to say that when Phoenix walked up, and I'm not trying to be negative when I say this, he's such a professional actor that he reminded me of a 7-year-old child because he had his head cocked and wasn't
Well,
really.
he's always like that in public. In every interview I've seen him in, where he has an audience in front of him, he gets nervous. He gets nervous.
Yes, and and to any other actor that delivers a speech, you know, I was just ready to see how Phoenix was going to deliver this speech and to walk up on stage. And I was definitely happy to see that the Joker won 2 Oscars, one for best soundtrack, and also for best actor with Joaquin Phoenix. I have to admit that if you watch Joker, and you probably have, that is not a feel good movie, folks. That is a movie that will honestly will depress you. But the thing is that the emotion in this movie really, you know, it's the villain. It's the story of the most iconic comic book villain and comic book history, in my opinion. You know, the Joker. And Crystal relayed to me. She said, "You know, Tommy, I don't like, and I don't want to take these words from you.
That's fine.
I don't like the Joker, the actual Joker. I like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Am I right?"
Yeah, because the original Joker, you know, like the OG Joker, um, I mean, he's a great villain, but he's just a villain. He's easy to hate. You know, the original Joker, his relationship with Harley Quinn, he was abusive. He
Yes.
hit her, he insulted her, he controlled her.
He shot her.
Um,
He threw her out of a window in one of the animated
yep.
series, and that was a
Yeah,
kid's.
it even happened in the animated series.
There was
He was very cruel to her.
there was a scene, a very provocative scene in one of the cartoons. She's in a pie, and she rises up butt first, and she's, you know, waddling back and forth, and she's singing a song to him, and very provocative for a kid's cartoon. You know, this was the mid '90s slash 2000s. That the company was going through a change with the Joker's look, and all of a sudden Joker's red lips disappeared, but his blackish green hair was there, his face looked blue, and all of a sudden it was just a big line where Joker's mouth was. He had no color to his lips. And when finally it returned to Batman Forever, Return of the Joker, they actually gave a good look to the animated Joker, which Mark Hamill iconically does the voice for the Clown Prince of Crime.
Oh, yes, yes. And I wanted to like, of course, okay, so the whole thing with Suicide Squad, nobody likes that Joker and all that. And there isn't really much reason to like it because the movie was not good, but it could have been.
It could have been better if they had left.
What I did like about the concept, it's very disappointing that it was so poorly executed, but the concept was really cool. I really liked the idea of the Joker as sort of this mob boss gangster character, with tattoos and the grill, and and he is taking advantage of some of the luxuries of this crime syndicate and this power that he has, and I really did like that his relationship with Harley Quinn was mutual. I that was the part I liked about it, that they took that original storyline of how they met, and instead of him being this abusive, horrible person to her, he actually cared for her a lot, and they were sort of these partners in crime type of thing. I think that's much more interesting. It's much more dynamic, and it gives way for a lot more other, just creative storylines than, oh, he's a bad guy, oh, and he hits her. And to me, that's trite. I mean, it happens. That whole Stockholm syndrome thing, it happens, and there's a level and a depth, socially and as far as humanity goes, to that as well. But I would just much prefer, maybe it's just because I'm kind of a romantic, that I like this idea that a villain kind of hates everybody else except for his family. Like, he's got his, maybe his girlfriend or his wife, and maybe like his children, and that's like all he's got. Yeah. And that he's sort of created that for himself. The villain's created that for himself, and she is a knowing participant, and they are partners. I just like that a lot more. I like that a lot more.
In this movie, they really didn't give him a love interest. They just gave him an imaginary love interest. And if you haven't, if you get a chance, watch Joker. And if where have you been? Have you been underneath a rock? And fortunately, I was.
Yeah, I guess it'd be kind of like saying, "Hey, spoiler alert!" But if you haven't seen it, I really do, man. I love that movie so much. I very rarely, ever watch a movie multiple times within a short period of time. I never do that. Now I've watched, I've seen Fight Club 8 times.
Wow.
But the first time I watched it, I was 16. So that was that was 16 years ago.
I've watched Back to the Future multiple times.
Yeah. But it's like I didn't watch the movies that I like. I didn't watch them 3 times within 3 months.
No.
I watched Joker in theaters twice, and then watched it again at home with my brother. And every time I see it, I find I'm not finding plot holes. I don't find a weakness in any of the characters. I don't find a weakness in the delivery of any of the dialogue. It just becomes more and more solid as a movie each time I saw it. And I also really love that it stands alone. Even outside of the Batman, legacy and the lore and and Joker, even if he wasn't Joker, and it was just some grimy town and it was just a regular guy whose name was Arthur, it would be just as good.
I think there is some decor that is to the character of Arthur, and I think that just looking at Arthur as a whole and a character, I think it's really interesting on the human emotion and just how he would portray himself and how he would how Joaquin would portray being Arthur, and there was a certain kind of continuity to where his walk and how he handled himself when he was Arthur to when he was becoming the Joker, and I really think that the decor and the facial expressions really tell you who is Arthur and who is the Joker, and I think there was a brilliant development into the creativity of how Phoenix made this Joker, and how any actor truly will develop a character, and even some of the best actors, what is it, Johnny Depp, some of these people will put their bodies on the lines, and even the where's Rachel? Where's Rachel? That actor,
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale has come out and said that now for movies he will not. Thank you for the super chat, $4.99. Thank you so much for that. And I think that Christian Bale has said that he will not sacrifice his body anymore. He will not lose weight for roles because he says it really tears up your body when you do that.
Oh, and he did it. I mean, gosh, he was emaciated. I mean, he was absolutely skin wrapped around bones for The Machinist. And The Machinist really isn't a movie that a whole lot of people, really like. It is particularly dark as well. I only saw it once, and that was quite a few years ago when it was in theaters. And all I really remember about it, I do remember the storyline, and I remember how it ended. But I remember seeing Christian Bale in the condition that he was in. But otherwise, the movie was a bit slow, and maybe didn't really keep people's attention. I don't want to call it boring, but maybe maybe slightly lackluster. But it was amazing what the amount of weight that he lost. I remember in an interview him saying that he was literally eating like an apple a day to get into that role.
Wow.
And that was what he was doing. And then he gets he gets beefed up for Batman. And then he gains a whole bunch of weight and gets like chubby for what was that one? The Big Bounce or something like that.
The Big Short.
Big Short, yeah. So yeah, it was like and again, that's another movie that doesn't really I guess it didn't leave much of an impression. But what the impression that is left is that of Christian Bale and his dedication to these roles. And it's awesome. It's great to to see it, to bear witness to it. But it's not worth it because it is really unhealthy. And I commend an actor who commits that much. I do, but it's not worth it. It's not worth their life.
Also, I just want to stay here. I apologize, folks, that I had said on an earlier broadcast that we were going to have a guest speaker. The guest speaker I was going to have on kind of had to fall out, but not the next Wednesday, but the next other Wednesday, we'll be having a guest speaker on the show. And just want to let everybody know that the person we were supposed to have on was supposed to be on here tonight, but he said he was too busy because he had to take care of some stuff. So,
well, you know where he's at, right? He's at the auction wall.
Okay, we're not not making. We're not. We're not. We're
Oh,
not.
I am too easily amused, I swear. See, I love accents. I love accents. My brother and I, my brother's 25. I'm soon to be 33 at the end of the month.
Well, happy
And
birthday
so
to
we
you.
hang out a lot and we talk and all that stuff, and we get a kick out of, our own families, and in our region, Western Carolina, the accents, and I just get a kick out of all of it, whether it's New York or Boston, or it's the South, or it's like North Dakota, which starts sounding a little bit Canadian, and West Coast. It doesn't matter. All of it to me is just, I get such a kick out of it. I get such a kick out of it.
Yes. What is it? How you doing there, eh? Talking about that. How about those bears?
I can't really morph into I can't really morph into accents. If I hear it for a while, I can copy it, but it's not like just sitting there in my head that I can just access it and be like, here's that accent.
I
But
heard. Was I heard in a movie one time. He's like, if you could kill me, how would you? How would you kill me? And he's like, a wood chipper, a wood chipper. And he's like, you ever seen Fargo? And he's like, yes. And she's like, yes. And he's like, psh.
well, it would work. My guess is that it would be pretty effective.
Yikes. Sadly, the only part of Steve Buscemi that didn't go into that wood chipper was his foot, which he was using to use a log to jam his foot into that.
Yeah, I don't know. Nowadays, I don't know how the heck you'd get away with any kind of murder. I guess you'd have to really, it'd have to really be worth it to you, right?
Yes, because
I hate this person so much that I'm willing to go to prison for the rest of my life, because the chances I'm going to get away with it are pretty much zero.
slim.
Even if you got a wood chipper.
Yes, and you would have to, to be honest with you, I know, like, they're like, wow, Tommy and Krystal are talking about a murder here, and I'm like, who are you gonna murder, Tommy? I don't know. There's a list. I don't know.
I feel a little homicidal today. I don't know.
Did you watch Joker?
All of the crime, with all the true crime shows that are out there, Dateline, Forensic Files, and all that stuff, most people I know watch that or have watched it and are fascinated by it for some reason. Even though none of them are violent people. None of them are violent people. I'm not a violent person. And me and my family weren't violent people.
I've been accused of being called a violent person because of what I do and how I portray myself, and then how people constantly want to say that, oh yeah, Tommy's doing this violent act and he's autistic, and I'm like, well, I'm high functioning, but that doesn't define me, so stop defining that. Well, no, Tommy, that defies you. You can't do anything in this world. You can't jump into a ring and wrestle with somebody, because then if you get whacked around, it's gonna be, oh, this wrestling YouTuber is beating you up. Then constantly. My autism is always going to be thrown in the picture, but sorry, that was just a little rant, a couple second rant that I just threw in there, and I apologize.
Yeah, it's a bit of a side note. However, I will say that for some reason, for a very long time, and it's still happening, society does want to pigeonhole people.
Yes.
If you have autism, you're pigeonholed. I feel pigeonholed.
If you have Down
even
syndrome,
now.
you're pigeonholed.
I mean, we all have certain limitations, and we have weaknesses, and we have strengths. But I feel even pigeonholed now as a woman, and I don't identify with any of the modern the feminist stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in the workplace or in a relationship or in my family, have been treated differently and underestimated only because I was a woman. Yeah, it happened. But at some point, I guess I kind of expected that it would end. Like, time will go on and it'll get better, and it still happens from time to time. But not everybody's like that. And even heck, even you can be a white straight dude and still get pigeonholed. You can be saying, "Oh, well, you're automatically a racist. You're automatically sexist." And you're definitely not allowed to cry because then that makes you a total, pansy. And so I just feel like, for some reason it's 2020 and society as a whole still, not society as a whole, but for some reason the voices that are given the biggest pedestal want to put people in some sort of a category. And it's very strange. It's really weird.
Yes, and I think that with the development, I think women have come very far to the point where they can vote, to where they have an opinion that that
Yeah,
they can.
women's suffrage happened a long time ago, Tommy, but thanks for noticing.
I mean, no. I wasn't trying to be like negative or nothing. I'm just saying that.
No, you're just accidentally being funny as usual. No, continue.
Oh my! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to be serious. That in our women, men, and even like with African Americans, they have come far in our society, and that even in the acting field, like even African Americans, even women are getting better roles, and there are being changes today to our society and how people look at other people, and developments out there, and to the creativity of sex, and and our world out here. And there's a lot of developments, I think, in my opinion, and
Oh yeah.
I truly think that there'll be more changes to come down the road. And you know it's just the continuity of our society, and the creativity is constantly being bifurcated in our world.
I
Ripped.
don't know that word either.
It's a
But I
technical
think I
word for
know
being.
what you're getting at. And
It's a technical word for being ripped in half. Like it's constantly being ripped in half, constantly.
and that's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. It should be a good thing. Um and we talked before about the current social climate and stuff like that. But I really do enjoy hearing everybody's point of view. And I do mean everybody. Um I like to, of course, so I'm a white straight female in today's America. I'm 33 years old. So I have my own point of view and I have my own experiences and all that stuff. But I don't feel that I am deeply I have been deeply affected well outside of the norm because of that. Whatever struggles I've experienced, I can tell by talking to people, not just face to face, but on internet, social media platforms, or whatever comment streams and all this stuff that my experiences are very common. So I feel very privileged in that I can say, hey, I have had these problems and I've had these experiences that got me down and disappointed me, but they're common. So I don't have to feel that I'm alone. But on the other hand, they shouldn't be so common. And so then we can acknowledge and analyze, why is this happening so often, and what can we do about it? But and sometimes, unfortunately, people go too far and start to create conflict where there really isn't any. So and then I think that's where there's a lot of comedians that I really like who shed a bit of light. I don't agree with every word that Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle has ever said, But I do understand them because they're the kind of guys that I kind of know. They are like men I have known, and they are taught, especially with Bill Burr. He said some pretty some things that a lot of women might find offensive. And I don't agree with everything he says, but anybody out there listening who's a Bill Burr fan, you know, I mean, and if you're a guy listening to Bill Burr, you probably don't hear what I'm hearing because, well, I'm a woman. But he kind of reminds me of men I've known, like my own father, who has a, you know, a position in life where he works extremely hard to provide and does an excellent job. Hardest working person I've ever met in my life. And for some reason has a wife that continues to nag him and expects more and more, and it's never enough. So, you know, I can see everybody's plight. And maybe that's what I'm saying, is that I'm very sensitive to everybody's story and everybody's experience. Because when we like to wrap ourselves up into our own narrative, you know, well, oh, I only care about the issues that affect women because I'm a woman. Well, I'm just not that kind of person. I care about people's experiences. And at the same time, I can kind of smell BS for that same reason. You know, I can kind of sense it when someone's like, oh, here's my problem. And I'm like, I think you're grinding an axe. And so, you know, got a lot of axe grinders these days. Let's put it that way.
Now, as you bring up with and I think it's really good that what you just shared. And here's a question for you, Crystal. Would you ever be interested? I hate to ask you live like this. Would you ever be interested in doing an update Tommy Talks interview with me and you, where I just set up my camera and me and you just go back and forth and I ask you current questions, what's going on in your life? Would you ever be interested in doing that again?
Oh, I mean, sure. I mean, if you think that I'm interesting enough
Oh,
to ask questions, I'll
my
answer your questions.
and just real quickly, as I've gotten your permission, I'm going to ask my viewers, folks, would you put one or two if you would like me to do an interview with Crystal, an update interview with Crystal? I would love to hear your opinions and see, because I know how much you guys love Crystal, and you Crystal is one of my good friends. But as it goes with my channel, Crystal, with every person that is on my channel is like a character in my life. And so you were one of those big characters that are in my life, and friends also, that people love to see and love to see you in the vlogs. And Hamza's another person that they love to see to get in the vlog also. And oh, we're getting a big one. We got a big one right there. Oh, we got 2 or 3 ones. And one means yes and 2 means no. So we're definitely getting a big thumbs up. You know, me and Crystal.
Well, I'm flattered. I'm flattered because I don't think that I am uninteresting, but I don't think I'm particularly interesting either. But I am very forthcoming and honest, so maybe that's one thing that's might set me aside. There's no question I think you could ask me that I wouldn't feel inclined to answer honestly.
Understand.
You know, I don't really have I don't have skeletons in the closet or anything like that.
You don't easily offend. I know that, and it takes a lot to offend you. I've noticed that, and you know, I as our professional relationship and our friendship has grown over the years, you know, I have learned so much about you. And you just every single day you just amaze me, and then my eyes just every time I see you, my eyes just melt out of my eye sockets when I see you. But
melt your eyes out of your sockets. Wow, I didn't know I had that power. Is that a good thing?
Yeah, that's a good thing. That means
if I melt your eyeballs, is that a good thing?
All right, I could say you make me melt in my shoes. You know, like that's another thing I could say. You know, But you're my friend, and I respect you. And sometimes, if I want to state this for the record, anything I've ever done, like with Crystal, Crystal knows that I'm joking. If I have like slightly kissed her on the cheek or gripped her a little too hard or something like that, I want to apologize to you here, Crystal. That if at any point I ever bothered you.
Oh, don't do all that. No, we've been good friends for a long time, and you never coerced me into anything, and I don't see what the big deal is. I don't see what the big deal is.
Well, there's been
If
people out
if
there
we
that have
if we can't live
accused
in
me of being
if
too
it
pushy.
well if we can't live in see I just don't really see it that way because I'm an adult woman and I can say hey knock it off at any time, and if I don't, it's because I don't think it's that big of a deal. This is modern America. If men and women can't be friends and can't just joke around with one another for any reason, it doesn't matter what the reason is. You can't, whatever the joke is, it can be anything. And if two people are willing to share in that camaraderie and see the comedic aspect in things, then I think that's a beautiful thing all the time. And anybody who wishes to degrade it or mock it, I think it's just because that's what they need to do. And yeah, I think it's a shame that uh, that what people do on the internet can attract so much animosity and so much negative attention. But but I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. That's often what happens. But there's no need to apologize. There's no need to apologize.
I guess I kind of feel that I overstep my boundaries sometimes, and even though I have, and as a friend and as professionals, I do have, I say that publicly. I do have feelings for you as a friend, and I know what our relationship is. That we are just friends, and I sometimes feel like I have to put my foot down and say, Tommy, this is how you should do things. This is how you should handle yourself around the ladies, and even Crystal, or say Ashley, or anybody else, that I should handle myself in a professional way. And there's times where I should just be chill and have a beer or have a glass of liquor, and I know that I have made mistakes, and there was at one point I made a video with you, which I should have never made with you. I should have never uploaded that video. I made a mistake, an error, in a point on that Deadpool review or movie review, which me and you at some point will, whenever you're not busy, we will do a movie review. And maybe I might just wait and save it for that new Ghostbusters movie that is coming out in this year and the summer. I think that's when that's coming out. I am definitely excited to see that movie. I am just anticipating to see just a couple seconds of Bill Murray to see how this movie is going to be portrayed. And it looks like this movie is, even though I'm gone completely off, I have been derailed. I've completely derailed myself.
Well, we can do the next movie review with whatever you want, and for what you were saying, mistakes are subjective. So what you perceive as a mistake, is different than what I would perceive as a mistake. A lot of what you perceive as a mistake on your channel comes from the response of the viewers, but that doesn't mean that it's a mistake. I think that things are just too rigid. Things are too rigid. We've come from a place, and I am incredibly grateful. I am so incredibly grateful that I've lived and was raised and continue to live in a part of the world and a part of the country that does not permit men to abuse me. I have not, in my adult life, been physically abused by a man. I have not been hit, and I've not been made to feel uncomfortable by the men around me. I think sometimes guys are foolish, or they're dumb, or they're, maybe they miss a point, or they're sloppy or something like that. But I have just as many complaints about women, because it's human. It's not about men and women, black, white, gay, straight, all this stuff. It's just human. So what you think is a mistake, I might think that it's just funny. I don't perceive it as a mistake.
Well, here's the
Uh,
thing. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
well, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Well, the biggest problem was with that video was, what happened was, is reason why I felt bad was because of how the media handled that,
Mm-hmm.
and other people handled that video, and there was a lot of people throwing stuff out there that was wrong, and
Yes.
and here's the
I
thing,
think that they are the ones that are mistaken.
and they don't
I
if
believe
they
they were the ones that were mistaken.
if they were to look, and they call themselves media sources, they were to look back a long time ago. I was getting drunk with you a long time ago. There's lots of evidence, which I'm not going to hide that evidence. I'm not going to say the evidence is not out there. And there's been videos I've had to hidden because there was too much of in a video. So I even
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I am autistic, high functioning
But
autistic.
we were being ourselves, and we still are. And ourselves change. We change.
Yes.
We celebrate change. At the same time that and this is something I don't understand, and I see it all the time. Um, when somebody like so there's this term, and this, I don't want to derail either, but I'm going to use an example. When you have somebody who is trans, and they
T, you mean?
have always felt, let's say that they were born male but have always felt female, and then one day they finally have this opportunity, and they take this opportunity to become the person that they were always meant to be. It's a beautiful thing. But then in society, if we publicly acknowledge that they were born male, or they used to be male, or we refer to them as their male name, it's dead naming them. This is a term that, it's dead naming them, that they're not that person anymore, and furthermore, they were never that person because they always identified as female. I think that is disenfranchising and diminishing the human experience. The fact that they were born male when they never felt male, and finally were able to blossom into this female that they always were, that's the process. That's the beauty. That's the humanity. That is the experience and the story that we all want to hear, that I want to hear. I used to be an alcoholic. My whole life revolved around alcohol, and anybody who knew me knew that. So for me to pretend, well, that never happened. I never did those things. I was never a drunk. I was never sad. I was never depressed. I was never sick. That is diminishing my human process, my own growth, that I am not that person anymore. And that there is a triumph in that. And if we pretend like those things never happened, we try to brush them under the rug and be ashamed of it. Why be ashamed of it? What have you ever done that you should be ashamed of? What did I ever do that I should be ashamed of? I drank too much alcohol? Well, okay. It wasn't a good thing, but why should I sit here and be ashamed of myself that was something that happened? I don't understand. I don't relate to that. That growth is a story, and that story is us. It's
Yeah.
you, and it's me, and it's anybody. It's everybody.
And in our progressive society, we the thing is that we shouldn't care what people think, and then what happens is the progressive ends up shoving down our throats, and I think that's what happens is in this society, that people decide, oh yeah, I have an opinion, and my opinion matters more than your opinion. So I think that's what happens is that then people begin to look on themselves and try to fix themselves when they're just being themselves, and that's what happens is in our society is the media and people that have different opinions.
And now with internet platforms, each individual person has now become, quote unquote, the media. And it's sure it's each individual person's prerogative if you want to point fingers and you want to judge and you want to say, oh, that's stupid, oh, that's lame, oh, you're a weirdo, oh, this and that, fine, it's your prerogative. You can do it. I do not personally find value in it. I just don't find value in judgment, nor do I really find value in taking offense to things, because it is going to happen, and it has always happened, is going to continue to happen, with or without you. Individually, not you literally, but with or without anybody, with or without approval, with or without acknowledgement. It has always happened and will continue to happen. And it's almost like in the last few years we have this demographic of people, whatever you want to call them, whatever that the title would be, that it makes it seem like one day in the last 5 years people just woke up and went, oh, this is a thing and that's a thing. Well, of course it was always a thing. What did you do? You're 20 years old. Did you graduate high school and you got a clue and now you think you're the first person to ever acknowledge it? Get over it. It's always been, and we've come so far. We've come so far as a society, and I feel like I've come so far as an individual that I think it's a pity that we don't feel just encumbered with gratitude. Just encumbered with gratitude. And of where we are and what we have.
I feel like I have changed a lot from when I was younger and from my teenager year to where I am now. I feel like I have changed a lot. I mean, my sensor sometimes falls off. As you know, the screw comes loose and falls off. Oopsie, there goes Tommy's sensor.
But maybe that's something that you could work on. If you can acknowledge that that's something that you do, then that's something that you can work on. And it's a progress. Everything's a work in progress. Just like, not drinking so much or not smoking so much or losing weight or whatever the case is. We're all a work in progress.
Yes,
some things are harder for people that are easier for others. It's all just the same. We're all just freaking human, man.
Which right now, currently, as you know, I've been really fitness active. I've been really trying to lose weight. I've lost quite a few pounds in this past year, 2020. Before 2020 even said hello, I was already rocking out at the gym and trying my best to cut the calories and to lose weight. And I don't know if you've noticed it, Crystal, but a lot of people around my inner circles have noticed it too.
Oh yeah, and I mean 30 pounds is not nothing. It's not nothing. And if you continue to go along this path, you'll just continue to lose. And that's fantastic.
My ultimate goal is possibly my cutoff goal is definitely maybe 220 pounds at least. I definitely could lose more, but I'm a big guy, so I should keep some muscle on me or maybe some chunk. I don't know. I definitely want.
I think that you said you're 5'10".
Yes, I am 5'10".
I would think that a healthy weight for you would probably be about maybe 180, 190. If you could get down to 190, that would be absolutely incredible. And now towards the end, it gets harder. When you got 20, when I need to lose 100 pounds. Well, the 100 pounds won't be too hard. It's down when you get down to the last 20 pounds. That's when it gets difficult, because it wants to stick to you. I've been trying to lose 10 pounds of fat weight probably for the last 3 years, and it's that 10 pounds is just, I mean, it's sticking to me like glue, and it doesn't sound like much. But if I could lose 10 pounds of fat weight, just fat, because I'm trying to replace it with muscle, because as you and I have talked before, I want to be a beast. I mean, I wish I could be benching 200 pounds. I can leg press 330 pounds.
Wow.
But I can't bench I can't bench more than 80. And I would love to just be beast mode, like boxer status. Like
China.
I would, yeah, I mean, I would really love to be like, man, like, look at me. I'm like, you ain't going to mess with me, man. I am tough. I don't care about being thin. I want to be strong. I want to be strong. I want to be able to still, carry my daughter like she's a baby when she's 10 years old and 110 pounds. That's what I want. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult because I have some injuries that I've sustained over the years through car accidents and various follies, and they affect me. I have a neck injury that affects me.
Ooh, you have a neck injury?
I can do a pull up for the first time in my adult life. I can do one pull up
Really?
for the first time in my adult life. That's all I can do. But that was the goal. I was like, I want to be able to do one pull up. That's where it started. And now I can do one pull up.
My coach kicked my butt this morning in the gym. Like he went at me. Yeah,
it can be tough, but there's so much satisfaction in it. There really is so much satisfaction in I think using our bodies physically, having a good reason to be tired at the end of the day. Because we've used our bodies. After a while, it becomes it was pivotal for me. And see, I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I enjoy the gym very much. I like to sweat. I like to work out. I like to feel sore the next day. I'm very lucky because I enjoy that feeling. And it was a perfect thing to replace being drunk. Because I need a replacement. I need something that I like just as much, and I found it. And in that, I'm very privileged because that's not how everybody feels. I mean, you can't just look at here's somebody who's an alcoholic. Well, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? You can't just throw that around to people. You have no idea what other people are experiencing and why they're experiencing it.
Yeah, and people go through their own processes and their own changes, and it's definitely interesting in that perspective that how things go. But I wanted to say something here real quickly, Krystal. You know what today is?
No.
Today is the 20th anniversary that we lost Jim Varney. You know what I mean?
Well, I did not know that. Wow, 20 years?
20 years since we lost the late great Jim Varney to lung cancer. I think it was drinking, a mixture between drinking and lung cancer, that we lost the great Ernest P. Worrell, the vagabond that was Ernest P. Worrell. And in my opinion, that's what Ernest was. Ernest was a vagabond that went town to town helping people. He was a clumsy oaf, but he had a heart of gold. And truly, people would treat him like garbage, but he just kept on trucking. Even in Scared Stupid, Ernest Goes to School. Just in every single movie you see Ernest in, he picks up a trait. And he picks up all these things, and you that's why you love the character, is because he's in his own legend, Ernest is one of those characters that you know and love, and everybody knows. You know what I mean? Hey, Vern.
Oh yeah, hey Vern. Yeah, I mean that was a thing in my family. My mom used to say that all the time. Hey Vern. Now you're almost right. I don't mean to split hairs here. I just looked it up. It wasn't today. It was February 10th. So today's the 12th. So it was day before yesterday.
Oh, dang it. And I advertised it all today.
Well, you were close. You were close. So it was February 10th, 2000.
Wow.
So you were very close. And I can't believe it's been 20 years. I absolutely cannot believe it. I mean, I've heard my whole life, the older you get, the quicker time passes, and I kind of thought like, oh yeah, the older you get, starting at like 60, right? No, I am flabbergasted I am flabbergasted daily at how quickly the time goes by. It's amazing.
It does.
Kind of creepy.
You know, through times, people will change, their looks will change, and so, it's just how things go. It's a never-ending change of life, on how things go.
Oh yeah. Oh, change is inevitable. It is going to happen, whether you can utilize it or not, whether you like it or not. It is going to happen. And it is happening.
Here we go.
And perhaps on that note would be a good time to end our broadcast, because we're at 8:20. We got started 20 minutes late, so we went 20 minutes over.
All right. As always, folks, I'm Tommy NC 2010, and you're watching the Krystal and Tommy podcast. And I don't know what our catchphrase here is exactly, but until we,
I don't either. But
it's a developing
we
podcast.
It is. We do it because it's fun. Whether we do it because we have nothing better to do, we do it because it's fun. We do it. We're doing it. Maybe that should be the catchphrase.
We do it because we're just having fun.
We do it because we do it.
We do it because we do it. Honga honga, honga honga.
Honga honga. Indeed.
Keeping you on the inside fact. Subscribe, support, stay positive. Also, I hope everybody has a happy Valentine's Day. By the way.
Yes, take care. Thanks for being here.
Take care.